Hello, everyone. My name is Timothy Lee Grant. Today is May 19th, 2024, and something which has really been bothering me and holding me back is that I just feel low energy, sluggish. I can't think. I'm constantly just feel like I'm in a fog and that I can't focus on anything. Whenever I'm learning about something, either I'm doing something at work or I'm trying to learn something on my own, I can't actually focus on that actual task which I'm doing. I'm constantly thinking about something else. I'm thinking about some future event and I'm trying to figure out how it works or what I should do to prepare for it or something like this. And I can't focus on what I'm actually doing. It's really annoying. And so I've been trying to think of like, okay, well, what's actually going on here? What is happening? Why is it happening? And then how to fix it. So, okay, first off, what's happening? First one is, as I mentioned, number one, low energy. I just feel like I'm constantly like, just doing everything at a very low energy, like 10% when I should be at like 90%, right? Like I'm just, if I'm, for example, today I was learning about Docker and I was trying to study it. I was trying to learn. I was watching videos and I was watching it kind of like this, hoping to, what, I guess passively get the information, which obviously is not going to work. I mean, you might get 10% of the information, but you're leaving 90% out if you just watch it like this versus if you're actually engaged and you're watching it and you're saying, okay, well, what's going on? And you're trying to learn and you're trying to move forward. That's so much more efficient. And okay, so that's number one is low energy. The second one is constantly like daydreaming or thinking of situations in the future. Whenever I'm doing my one thing right now, okay, I'm learning about Docker, but then I'm thinking about this, and then I'm thinking about that, and then I'm thinking about the other thing, and then I'm thinking about the other thing. Right? I'm constantly thinking about all of these random things that have nothing to do with what I'm actually trying to focus on. So I keep daydreaming about all sorts of other random things. And then the third one is I'm constantly checking my phone. I'm constantly like looking at it, seeing if I got any notifications, seeing if maybe scrolling, right? Scroll, always scrolling. Okay. So those are the three symptoms that I've noticed. Now, why is it occurring? And I think that there's actually a commonality between all three of these, and it is dopamine. My brain is so used to just being hit with high levels of dopamine. My brain is constantly trying to just hit itself with dopamine and get that rush. Whenever I'm doing something, I'm trying to focus on something, my brain learning Docker doesn't give you a whole bunch of dopamine, but the phone does. And so that's why my natural inclination is just to I don't even notice that I'm doing it. My hand just almost does it by itself, you know? So what's going on? Well, my brain is saying, I need dopamine. I need dopamine. I need dopamine. And it causes a almost involuntary unconscious action that I go and check my phone, get that dopamine hit, and bam, there we go. My brain's happy. It's satisfied. It got its dopamine. And obviously, this is just horrible for learning because what I found out, and I used to be able to get into the flow state in the past. That's the problem is I can't anymore. In the past, I realized whenever I was in the flow state, I was focusing, I was doing good. I would be learning about at like 95%, right? But then once if I even looked at my phone for 10 seconds, that 95% went down to like 60%, if not lower. Why? Because what's happening is your brain, when you're learning, when you're in that flow state, it's just like a computer. You have all of these states in loaded in your brain's short-term memory. So you are learning this and it's connected here and you have that connection in your short-term memory, and there's another connection out here, there's a connection out here. So you have this web of connection of what you're learning, and you're able to kind of conceptualize it. But when you look even for 10 seconds at your phone, all of a sudden you take that out of your short-term memory, and then when you try to go back to learning it, 10 seconds, and then you look back, oh, okay, where was I? I don't know what was going on. There you go. All of a sudden, your efficiency dropped. So, what I did in the past, and this was extremely effective, is I took my phone and I put it away. I put it towards a location that I couldn't physically just reach. I had to consciously actually make that decision. Yes, I am going to look at my phone. So I would have to get up, I would have to move over and grab it. This was immensely beneficial to me. So that's what I'm going to do again. I'm going to take my phone and make sure that it is not near me while I'm actually trying to do something. The second thing is, okay, well, now why would I be doing all of these like daydreaming kind of actions? And I was thinking about this, and I think what's going on is, again, with the dopamine, my brain is constantly trying to create situations in which it is able to trigger dopamine in itself. Does that make sense? So here I am in reality, I'm trying to learn Docker. And this is just the example because that's what I was learning today. I'm trying to learn Docker. But then my brain is able to try to go and get some fake scenario in the future, or this is going to happen and then that's going to happen. And what it's able to do is give itself dopamine because it's able to solve the problem, which is it's fake, it's artificial, it's not real. So my brain is like, oh, okay, well, I can go and I can solve this problem. Well, thanks, but I didn't need it. Right? So I think that's what's happening with the daydreaming, is that my brain is constantly trying to get that dopamine, trying to get that dopamine, trying to get that dopamine. And it's doing it by just creating these fake scenarios and then tricking myself into thinking that I got something accomplished when actually I got nothing accomplished. Now, that also ties into the first thing that I mentioned, which was tiredness, sluggishness, just unmotivated. And the reason is because my brain is working too hard. Now, sounds a little arrogant. I don't mean it in that way. What I mean is whenever it's a whole bunch of microtransactions, my brain is thinking about this, distraction, thinking about this, distraction, thinking about this, distraction. It's thinking about all of these different random distractions instead of thinking about what it actually should be focusing on. So my brain is using a ton of energy because each time it does one of those thoughts about a distraction, that's energy. That's energy spent. It's doing 100 different microtransactions, but not accomplishing anything. So you get the worst of both worlds because you feel just, I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. But you didn't do anything. You didn't accomplish anything. Now, conversely, on the other side, oh my goodness, whenever you get into that state where you've focused all day and you've really learned something and then you feel exhausted, that is the best feeling imaginable. You get these ideas in your head, and for me, what I enjoy doing is I enjoy focusing intensely on something, learning as much as I can, and then when I am just exhausted, I get into bed. And I don't know if you guys know about this. It's called a hypnagogia state. It's the state in between when you are awake and when you're asleep. So the hypnagogia state, it's kind of that weird in between threshold between awake and asleep. So during this state, you kind of can have different hallucinations and visions and stuff like that. What I found is if you study really hard and you really focus, you can have visions of what you learned. I remember doing mathematics and I would focus and focus and focus. And then I would go into bed and I would sleep. And you don't see physical things, but it's like ideas just flash. And it's so hard to explain because it's almost beyond language itself. But it's such an amazing feeling. So, on one hand, if you're doing all of those microtransactions and not actually accomplishing anything, not actually learning anything, it's a terrible feeling. But conversely, on the other side, like if you are able to actually focus and spend all of your mental energy on learning something, and then when you're just like exhausted, it's one of the best feelings in the world. It's amazing. It's absolutely incredible. So I need to figure out like how am I going to actually go about doing this? How am I going to go about reaching this state? And so, okay, well, I kind of classified the problem. Now let's come up with a plan. I already said that I'm going to put my phone away. That's good. Now, what else? Well, I need a dopamine detox. So, how am I going to do that? I think possibly what I can do is try to maybe do more meditation techniques. I can learn about different meditation techniques. Try to do that. Maybe I can also just recognize whenever I feel that urge. Say not get upset, not say, "Oh, I shouldn't be thinking about this daydream." Just recognize it, acknowledge it. Say, "Yeah, I'm thinking about it. My brain is craving dopamine right now, but I'm not going to give in. That's fine. Yeah, my brain, it wants it, but it doesn't need it. It's just fine." Maybe force myself to, okay, well, no, I'm going to finish whatever I'm doing. Just force myself to do it. So the idea is, okay, well, with this dopamine detox, I want to avoid those activities that cause a huge spike in dopamine and cause my brain to just go haywire. And then I might be able to bring myself to a lower kind of base level. And that way I'm able to, I think, naturally repair a lot of these problems which I was talking about. Because if I'm not constantly craving dopamine, well, then my brain might not be thinking about all of these daydreams and all of these random distractions. And if it's not doing that, it's not going to be spending energy, just spinning its wheels. So now I get rid of the daydreaming. I also get rid of the microtransactions. And then the scrolling is kind of the easiest one to fix because that one's more of a physical thing that I have physical control over. So this is my plan. The first part is okay, well, identify it. I identified that there was a problem. I identified what the problem was. Now I'm trying to get a plan like how to actually move forward. Okay, well, now after I do that, I'm going to try to implement it, right? That's this video, is just kind of classifying it. Next video I'm going to be making is kind of talking about like how's it going. Either it was a resounding success, it was amazing, could be, or like, okay, well, here was my plan, and actually I found this worked out better, or the other thing worked out better. And so I'm going to try to make another video in the future talking about, okay, well, how did my plan actually go? I'm going to try to implement the ideas that I just said in this video and see in the future, okay, well, did my plan actually work? And what was the result, right? Like did I actually become more clear-headed? Did I actually become more energetic? Did I actually was the result what I thought it was going to be? So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing in the future. This video is more just classification of the problem, identifying the problem, figuring out what the problem is, why it's there, and how I'm planning to fix it. And then the next videos, I don't know when I'll be making them, but in the future, once I have time to kind of reflect on my implementation, then I'll be making another video talking about like how it went and the result. So if you like that, I guess stay tuned for that video. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. And I will see you later. All right. Hopefully this video actually recorded. The last time that I did this video, I recorded an entire video of this, 20 minutes long. Then I stopped the recording and it didn't save. Dang. Okay, so I recorded it again. Let's see if it does it.